Hey guys, Kyle here at Gnarly Knives, and I got a cool review for you today of one of my absolute favorite carving knives. This is the Marttiini Timberjack. Marttiini is a Finnish company, so this comes to us all the way from Finland. I think probably the best competitor to this knife would be what we reviewed last week, the Mora Companion. We will talk about this a little more in a minute, comparing it to this, but just giving you the overall specs. This blade is 3 7/8 of an inch long, and then the actual cutting edge is 3 3/4 inches. You do have that little ricasso there is about 1/8 of an inch. A few things also, just getting to with the steel. I did check their website. It does not say the steel name, it just says carbon steel, but it just gives a little bit of the recipe. It has 0.3% chromium in it and 0.75 carbon. Like I said, it doesn't really specify more than that, other than it is hardened to 55 to 57 HRC, so that's right in the range with the Mora Companion. Mora's carbon steel, they harden in the 56 to 58 range, so basically same level of hardness, which is pretty awesome. These knives, Marttiinis in general, I have, if I had to guess, 6 or 7 now. Every single one has come shaving out of the box. This one here I actually have not sharpened yet because I haven't needed to, and it already has a beautiful mirror polish. You can kind of see a little better on this side. Kind of picking up different stuff. You can see the grates on the table. This does have a very comfortable handle. This is rubber, and it goes to your plastic finger guard. The only thing with the handle I didn't like is when I first got it, it did have little plastic, I don't know, I'd say kind of jimping almost, but I just find it was just very sharp, just kind of dug into my finger, so I just took a knife and just shaved it right off, and now it is pristine, sorry. One thing I do like with these a lot is that they do come with a 90-degree spine already, so using your ferrocerium rods, you're able to strike ferro rods right out of the box, and then too, you know, the little gump, that's just the little residue that forms up on the blade just wipes right off with it's on your shirt or a cloth if you don't want to wipe it on your shirt or pants. What I do like too, this comes in at a great price. You can get this for about $18. And this really, if anything, I think is a little underpriced because this is just such a great knife. I actually have 2 of these. This is the second one. I actually just recently got this one. The first one I got probably 2 years ago. And that one I've really put it through the ringer. I've done a lot of carving with it. I've even done some batoning with it. You know, just for small stuff, you know, just splitting small pieces of wood for, you know, making smaller spoons. But it's handled it very, very well. At some point the reason I got this one is because I'm going to replace this as my regular carving knife. And the old one, I want to take the handle off, and I want to make a custom handle for it. Now, comparing this over to your Mora Companion, you will notice the blade is a good amount thicker. The Companion is 2.5 millimeters, whereas your Timberjack is 3.2 millimeters, so looking about 1/8 of an inch. But if you kind of notice here, the grind is a lot taller on your Timberjack, so it does start higher up the blade. So this makes this super great, or super slicing, great for carving. As this is great at carving, I do, in my opinion, find Marttiinis to just be a little bit better still. These, like I said, they do fit in the hand really well. Now most knives, there's that little parrot's beak in the back. I generally am not a fan of those, but I don't find it to get in the way at all. I do have larger size hands, and it has not been an issue with mine at all. I actually still have a little bit of room. I can even kind of fit another finger in there. So that's just good if you're worried about your hands sliding up and down the blade. But with the rubberized handle, especially, you do have the checkering, and you see a little Marttiini, but you do have this texturing here, which gives it really good grip. So if it is wet or it's hot and you're sweating, like, this knife will not come out of the hand. And what is cool too, I do like, is the blade finish. Now this I'm kind of going back and forth. I tried to look it up a little bit. I know Marttiini, when I was looking up their steels, they do have a carbon steel that is forged. I don't believe it to be this one. That's probably on their a little bit higher end ones. higher end knives, but this does look like it has forged scales on it, or at the very least this does remind me very much of gun bluing, because I have messed around a little bit with some knives using gun bluing, and this finish is very similar to that. Either way, the purpose of it is just to help inhibit rust, this being carbon steel, but it does help very much with that. I really have not had any issues with this one or the older one, especially having any issues with rust. And then what helps really well too is having that very high polish, the mirror on the blade. That high polish does also help to inhibit rust. But I also do keep a nice little coating of fix and wax on these just to give it that extra little oomph of rust protection. Carbon steel being rust curious and all. Now another thing too we'll just get to with the companion is, now I know this here is the thinner model. I do want to do a comparison video of the HD companion, which is 1/8 of an inch thick, so it will have that same thickness on the spine as does the Timberjack. But I feel like, generally speaking, most people are probably going to go for these, and this only being a couple dollars more, these usually I'll see them in the, you know, $13, $14, $15 range. These ones, I've seen them as low as $16 on Amazon and up to $20, but both times that I've gotten these, they were $18. I'd say 90% of the time these go for $18, and that extra $3 I do think is very worth it. Just quickly, just go to the sheath. This is a pretty good sheath. It's not my favorite. It does hold the knife very well. The knife, when it's in, it doesn't rattle. I'm not worried about it coming out or anything like that. The only thing I do wish it kind of had a thumb ramp on it a little bit. It just makes it a little easier to get the knife out. The companion sheath, you can see not all the Moras do, but their companions, a lot of their newer knives are starting to come with sheaths with a little thumb ramp, which is great because it just makes it a little easier to pop the knife out. But also too though, this knife does go very deep into, so you see this whole area is the handle, so probably about 2/3 of the handle is in the sheath, and it is not coming out. It is held in very secure, and then you do get a decent loop here. I have actually thought about maybe just cutting this off and putting a little leather loop in it, just more for the aesthetics of it. But it is very effective. But given the choice between the two, I do kind of like the Mora sheath just a little bit better. But overall, it's the knife that really counts. You know, if I really wanted, I could just make a sheath for it. Actually, I will for the one that I'm going to be making the custom handle for, so that will be getting its custom sheath, because it won't be fitting in its regular sheath anymore after that. Now, just to show you a little demonstration here, this is the same piece of wood that we cut during the companion review. So you might remember the Moras are great carving knives. I mean, that's what I started on, and I'm not knocking Mora in any way. I mean, out of all the knives that I have, I probably have the most knives from a single company is Mora. But it is, you know, great carving, all that. But this here just digs right into the wood, having that super fine edge. And it also makes it great too, even though it is a thicker knife, you can actually do some really good detail work. And what I do like as well, so you can kind of see there, this does actually have a pretty stout tip on it. This does lend itself really useful for certain carving tasks. Not that you should be doing any prying, but depending on what you're doing, you don't need to worry about snapping that tip off quite as much as you would some other knives. So, you know, more than just carving, I think this would be a great bushcraft, or even a backup knife. You know, something if you are going camping, this would be a great thing to keep as a secondary knife in your pack. And then, you know, you have your regular main belt knife or blade, something usually longer, more stout. But this, I think, is a great addition to any bushcraft camping setup, or just carving. If that's just what you're using it for, what you want it for. You know, and then just demonstrating. I don't know if I went into this already about the 90-degree spine, but actually, now I remember I did do it already, but I'll just show you again. It's with the factory spine, no filing or anything needed. As with some of, you know, the Moras, most of them, you know, they come with the rounded spine, so you just have to just go a little with a file and take that right out there. You know, I do want to do a video at some point this weekend. I'll go into more with Marttiinis and showing you the different ones that I have. I have them in varying degrees. You know, I have some that, you know, under $20 up to the most expensive one I have goes for about $100, which is very fancy. It's the Marttiini Witch's Tooth. Actually has a cool little story or folklore, rather, that goes along with it, but we'll discuss that in the video. I don't know, I really hope you do want to check out this knife or Marttiinis in general. You know, even like searching around YouTube and stuff, I feel like there aren't really that many videos about Marttiinis, and I don't know why. So I want to start flooding YouTube with some Marttiini videos, because these are such a great knife, and it is a great company. I don't see any reason why more people aren't talking about them. You'll find them. There are some people who do, but not enough in my opinion. And, you know, having 6 or 7 that I do have, you know, that's a ton of videos right there. And I do wish to get many more. You know, like I said, not knocking Mora at all. I love Mora. Mora, they are great knives, and I still recommend these for someone who's just getting into carving or bushcraft or anything like that, that you might need a more specific task knife, you know, with these Scandi grinds. But, you know, honestly, you really can't go wrong with this either. You know, I'd say, why not get both? I mean, if you figure for 30 bucks, basically, 32 bucks, you know, you can have your smaller one, you know, it's a little thinner, and then you have your more stout, robust knife. Why not? Anyway, I hope you guys got a lot out of this. I hope you got some good information. Like I said, I definitely want to do more videos on Marttiinis. I really feel like Marttiini are the unsung heroes of the carving and bushcraft community. You know, at least as far as I've seen, or as far as I feel and everything I've seen. But I really hope you got some good info. I really hope you'll like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Do you have a Marttiini? Have you heard of them before? Do you have Mora? What do you like? What do you like to use? You know, let me know. I want to talk about it. I need to talk about knives, people, and I need your help. So let me know what you think. Is this something that you'd think about getting? Let me know. You guys have a good night. Have a safe weekend. And remember to keep carving and stay sharp.